Hey, hi everyone. This is Professional High Priestess, and I'm doing just a reading that I said I was going to be doing earlier regarding what happens with the twin flames. And a lot of you guys may find this very interesting and go share this out and get access to more information in your personal life through divination and studying, because a lot of this information is not on the planet because of what happened when individuals once had this akasha, had this work, and then broke it. Okay, so here we go. Let me get started with what's why did I title it Mars from Mars to Massapequa, right? I'm gonna teach you going for a few things. It's not gonna be too long. I know once I start talking about twin flames and mates and new tools for mates, whoa. So after discussions of new tool for mates, this is a good thing, but I'm not gonna go too much into that. I'm just gonna talk real quick about this, the precursor to that. And this is the high priest and why a lot of these high priests got like wrapped up with karmics in the first place. Then we'll go into like the names of like a bunch of stuff that has gone on, okay? The first things first to understand is that a lot of your masculines got put into warfare unnecessarily by bitches playing with their akasha in space, playing with plants, playing on their planet, taking like, imaging of their feet. Oh, we'll put this chemical here with this water. Then we can capture his feet. Then we can always follow him from place to place and try to mate him. There's like chaos like that, Like, oh, if he writes on this paper, I'll be able to track his writing and then I can write in his akasha with his hand. There's like stuff like that that goes on that causes a lot of chaos. And these are some of the tools and tactics that these karmics use to start slavery. But in regards to some of these high priests and why the warfare is mates, because they destabilize a lot of the warfare priests or the priests that were supposed to manage a certain type of like akasha, and they were doing that because they were wrapped up with karmics and did not see. And then there's illusion magic and Neptunian magic and people not being aware of the zodiac or higher selves, or that we got pulled to this planet through teleportation that was designed to enslave us. Like, oh, I'm sitting here and next minute I'm there. How did this get started? Now I'm in slavery, getting your memory wiped, all that type of stuff, right? So I'm just going to talk about some of these few high priests that got hit, but also talk about some of the federations that are going to be coming down to talk about video about tools. And then you always want to get started. As many choppers going over my house because it's getting real like that. And I remember there's one of those guys they were playing with kids. I was talking about that because there's I'm so sorry. But I was like listening to some songs and I was like, wow, that's so crazy how this like era came to me, because this is how like one level of the warfare that we didn't see is going to get exposed right now to us. And that's really Yonkers, old Yonkers which was a black town with a lot of people who were Seminoles and stuff like that. And then also brought here from different parts of Africa, but mainly Seminole. And that's where you get like Canarsie, Harlem, stuff like that. And then you get people that came, like I said, were forced here, and the people that moved up here through the Great Migration after leaving slavery in the South. So what ended up happening here was there is going to be a lot of information about, there's going to be a lot of information about some of the things that were done to bring some of this about for some of these high priests, but this is an emergency message because people need to see their image so that you know what has been going on. So Mars to Massapequa, it's that was so funny. You know what reminded me of this? That song Bugging Out, Bugging Out. Oh no, we got the jazz, we got the jazz, right? And Five Dog has something from Mars to Massapequa, like he has a lyric like that, right? Competition, you must come sideways. Competition, you must come straight way. And if that's so funny because Massapequa is the third planet in the Federation of Mayan planets, specifically Mayan planets with Ahakowaka Plato, who you call the sun god, and Yaniko Kuala, who you call like then his counterpart. I have showed her image on here. So they run a lot of the plants that we are now eating at sea, right? So on one hand, what has been going on here is Massapequa, they've committed a lot of things to create a pipeline, a etheric portal from Mars in this solar system to Massapequa over there for whites to be able to have access to herbs and different things for phytochemicals and causing drama. Now, the funny thing about that, how did that portal get built and how did they let that go on? They had to commit a bunch of murders, right? How you take chemical servers, get you on the etc. So they have to do a lot to be able to build up. to do a lot to be able to Massapequa. I eat to I may. So, they're in the Hebrew mansions just watching this. I got banished because I did. I eat. So, just watching this. I got banished with animal fries and he banished me. But it was vegan though. I, and I was like, right.
So, I mean, we both saw this coming.
So what I got started here was the Massapequa. How did that get formed? And this is how it got formed. That pipeline.
What's up? This is Tajay of the Mighty Souls of Mischief crew. I'm chilling with my man Festo, my man A Plus, and my man. Right now. Stuff gets a little hectic.
Thank you, brother. And I had to let it play to Maui because that's another one that they did too. Because Massapequa is not just Maya. Because what people don't know is like picking that there, okay. The islands are there of what you call New Zealand and Australia. The Maori are there. Right? They're also connected with that. The Seminole are there. The Japanese are there. Massapequa, the Igbo. So it's like too. Like you're dope and you're lit. You to go to Massapequa. There's a lot of lit people that were on the planet. They ended up getting their life taken away to build that portal from Mars to Massapequa for people to then go take spaceships to Mars to pick up items and things like that to come to the planet. But it requires somebody being murdered in between, right? Losing their kind or their spirit, and they build like a portal over you because because it's professors, we're not put medicine, nothing on the planet. And this is the now portal because I broke that the work I casted a work that broke every single ritual that they casted. And all throughout Atlanta, people saw people that were enslaved walking hand in hand, like in light form, leaving throughout several portals. Because remember, the last battle of the Civil War was fought in Atlanta. That's something that I really look into when all this madness got started because of Atlantis and the water portal there that they had started a bunch of bullshit with, and then trapped Ronald Isley in a time portal at 25 to run his body and his mind to keep that water portal open and to make that song. Because I got one time and he was also someone I was planning on that was, and it's the second type of cocaine that's made from sage leaf. So that's now something that's coming out here in regards to what's the new game now to keep me, between in that portal from Mars to Massapequa, and it's playing with the hype. Some of you guys, some of the men in public though, that's why I'm showing them, but you have to see this because they're all Zorzai, they're all, they're all warfare. That's what they right, high and empty, and then I'm over there too, and then so only used in between. What if slavery started a bunch of bullshit? And this time it didn't involve bringing children because that was the thing that could not work. You couldn't bring a child or an animal past a certain point. They either lose their consciousness or they just disappear. In space, if your baby is stolen from you, your child stays small until it gets back to its mother. Then it gets like to a bigger size. You get to enjoy your baby. If your mate is taken away from you and hidden, you get to get your mate back at your very, very young point, and you get to live your lives again. And like the pain and all those things are, processed with different chemical sequences. That's how it works in space. So this is how they do things. And a lot of these men that like were passed away, their souls were freed because some shit got started that should have never are open. And I do have to mention a man named Radio Rahim. I'm sorry for what happened to your son. I saw that from the beginning and that was very tragic. I felt that there was something like of a sleek lickle, like something sneaky in how that got weaved with a young hoe and an older hoe and messy into this. So that's all I'm gonna say. And your son, he's back home. Just know that portal got broken a long time ago about some years ago when it got started, what happened was we built a portal for people, a shaft, so that when people leave their body, they get to the hood and stuff like that. So for you to not be able to go to the hood, you go straight to Massapequa. That means somebody's taking your body out of somewhere. So they get triaged back to the hood now. So when you leave the planet, you go to the hood. It's kind of like this planet, but way better. Then you go to your indigenous planet, your first indigenous body. Your fourth level of your etheric layers, that's your hood body. That's how you get back and forth. Let's keep on going. In space, game, yeah, he's from Zorzai. And he got debilitated. How? Because you guys started a bunch of hood shit, caused a bunch of drama, but he didn't see what the fuck you guys had gotten started because you played with his eyes as a certain color and tied it to something called click-clausel, which is a specific type of like liquid that's made that like looks like Hennessy, like the color of Hennessy or something like that. So like literally like, stop him from eliminating who was rats from running online with tarot cards and starting shit with Blueface. So you're like, oh, some bitches that are sex hyper. I hope this Komodo that they wage against me sexually will be waged against them. Through a portal opening in 3 places, their vagina, in their gut, and in their mind. In their gut, it's going to enter into the 4th enteric system and open up a whole portal anywhere. Then inside of that, there's going to be phytochemicals that come down to bring down an Iroquois that brings them directly to the thing that's going to destroy them sexually, and that is it. They will then be consumed and malformed in their physical form into or something that like walks on all forms, force mentally, and then it comes down physically. That's what you're going to invoke. So these are the type of games that they play, you know, the hood life and shit like that. But these niggas aren't as Zorzai. It's warfare, but it's warped when you come to the planet, but it's still proper, you know. So that's some of the stuff that's coming out. Tyrese, and what I'm telling you, when this nigga wakes up, he's gonna knock your Tyrese Japanese from also Mars and Massapequa. And that movie, Baby Boy, they put so much magic in. Okay, then they said this will be in your Akasha, but it's a movie. And then how did I get captured on this planet where you're trying to make me live this life? I don't. Right. Orlando Brown too, same shit. He's on this planet. You guys call Dominica and Haiti, that land, right? Right. And so is and I'm showing this because there's a warfare that was fought like that got started in that area, Yonkers, Old New York, shit like that, with the Seminoles, who you guys call the Canarsians, who are a specific type of nigga, like that you guys like playing games with. And it's all that guerrilla mafia, black mafia family, Casanova, all them that goes all the way down to Jersey, right? When you got to like North Carolina, shit like that, that's a different family. That's like Gullah Geechee, but all the way down there, that's what created DC, Chocolate City. And you guys are fucking stupid and delusional starting that bullshit and playing like this. And these men got like hit up with nonsense and drum. But yeah, he's like, he's in Zorzai. Right. And he got put in that nonsense with all these planets. When I showed this video, people just, hey, oh, right. I have to show you. Now, before I get into this,
So I'm, you guys know they have here, they literally
they used to call and that is who I am. And my and they tried to usurp a specific leap for love warfare to cause chaos and hoeing and nonsense because they didn't have real mates. These are originals that all got banished to one planet. They mate anyhow, they start hella shit. Then they take on other forms to go to other original planets, act like they're not banished just to get food, they start hella shit and go back. So what happened was in this music video, as Missy Elliott didn't know what was going on, she was like out playing in space, but she really exposed like all those planets. And someone was like, isn't it the planet Uruguay? How did they see that we banished that place? Who unlocked it? Whoa. Isn't that Ugri-sized planet? I haven't seen them in years. What is their speech? Nothing. How did that happen? Aren't those the people of Ugri-Hisai? What happened right there? They lost their speech. Queen Triggerfish. Look at that aquarium. How did this happen? People are just now seeing this. How did they get to that planet? Because they're seeing the planets here and then they're seeing who was kidnapped from those planets. Mhm. And they saw Miss hair, right? They see the coil in her hair. They said, okay, perfect. There's a spiral. And that's all it fucking takes to start a war and get you trapped in somewhere. What the fuck? What are you talking about? Yeah, Ronald Isley saw himself 25 days fractured his body. He was just watching trapped in a pot portal. I can't even talk about it. Whoa. These bitches playing, like I said, anyways, playing with that mirror. He saw his body now playing games, mating people and just doing a bunch of bullshit in Atlanta, starting with too much shit and running people's body and causing chaos. And I will now take over Gucci Man because Roger Delantic, and that is a spell. And now causing chaos and calling the police on Gucci Man, saying that he's an ancient priest from like old Spanish land. Oh, that's the wrong language, causing chaos, right? And he saw that, he said, that's not my fucking body. I don't know who the fuck that is. He's crazy as fuck. You guys just keep on starting shit. South Lavenders only, Mom. Set it up this for the planet. What? At the time was the plantation. Every single one, there's a portal. It don't fucking matter. Goes to one, goes to all, and back again. It's done. Is done. This is these holes. Let me show you. These holes started San Quentin. Let me show you. I could take it like from
Why Missy be sucking into your like and then to be like penitentiary. My phone will be addictive. We don't see through. Some of the reasons why they public for the consequence. Gotta get your hands squeezed. Listen at the face. Might have been explanation. Got these fucking criminals. Can't get it just because of their emotion.
Yeah, this planet right here, when I say whoa at 317, right? This one right here, their game was like, let's make copies of planets, right? We're gonna make a photocopy of your planet. It's easy. You can make copies of planets as many as you want. Like, oh, we'll just grow this here. All these animals will live here. This is a planet of rectification, and then it has the same growth factor, the same phytochemical sequences in the plants, depending on what you want to do, right? And how many times you replicate it, right? Some plants you can't replicate at all. If they cannot replicate you because you're an impossible one, like, why would you be making copies of my car and my energy field and my these holes will sit down and copy the memory crystal of everyone that's even sniffed you, bitch, and make a body for you and start war. That's what they started. And they did that to the third Mars because there's more than just one Mars. They're interconnected with growth factors. And that's what you see this with this Super Saiyan shit right here. That's Baby Daddy Aries. It's just like glowing, like what you saw with Timberland. And they're black, bitch, and they went to go play with hentai and started porno sites. And that's how they started chemical server for sex warfare. Whoa. And then got all these niggas like wrapped up in like, oh, you're cute and da-da-da-da. No pussy, empty and loose. I'm about to die, but what's inside? Right. So it's so funny. Yeah, I just don't know what's inside. Right. And what you do not will was magic and spell work. And some weird ass bitch that you like it's like an Arabic word for like no, man, you're Japanese. I mean, you have a force of physics to understand. So now, right, after talks with Missy Elliott, right, and these bitches right here, whoa, that red bitch is so whoa, she's a and if you ever eat a red grouper, you're gonna die. It's just they asked for a speech because they collection. That's what they look like in space. Bot bitches. Now they have like that out. Super no. Whoa. Whoa. Yeah. And now they have no. You're gonna. So much. Yeah. They have like some more. Like, yeah. I don't want to be messy and look like nonsense, but like, you know. Right, right. And they created those things. Oh, I haven't made so that's all I have to say, right? And then they created shit like getting like that. And that's why I just picked this up, like the what's your the excuse me, miss. I was like, oh, for real. Because I saw him in the news and also without this started, yeah. Because these are kind of like people that don't start shit in the media. Um outside of Timberland and playing games. Black Rock, bitch. Whoa. Yeah, and he also reached Mars. Between that, who niggas from the state and start dishonorable shit, like from New York to Philly and Philly to New York and back and stop it. Right. If you really want to start shit, get a bitch from Connecticut or Lawrence, and you're causing a bunch of drama. Right.
Whoa.
Sorry, I just screenshot this. Play screenshot this. So in that video, it was Spielberg and shit like that. Black Rob passed away. I don't even know that. And then Cameron too. He's from Florida. I don't really know him too much. I feel like he's but I like to um, gonna find it in the future. These mascots be like, too. That next thing you boom, they start making octagons and decagons and dodecahedrons and archwagons and tuquakazons, and next thing you know, it's a bunch of drama, murders, and chaos. And I was just wanting to talk to my mate, right, and then getting traffic to the planet and starting shit at Zeus. And enough of that, right? And it's just like at this point, like, right. And now you know why. And that's just it. And then it's the ending of that, and you guys reclaiming your energy because you're not about to make money off of this in that way after trying to tie us to cryptocurrency on a specific planet because it was like copied and they started hell shit with mineral crystals and started a bunch of shit. So that's how it got started. And I played anything till because that's specific to the Bay and the chaos and bullshit that got started there because of messy holes running their mouth. So it's they always have to use somebody. So let's keep on going, you guys. Like, okay. Yeah, and the tools and tactics are vicious. It's like, yeah, sometimes they just fall into it on their own, ratchet shit nonsense, being dishonorable, being too professional, getting whitewashed, all kinds of stuff. Then they hook their cut to that server. Next thing you know, they can just run them and program them and do a bunch of shit. Take this drug, sleep with this whole, give us more energy, more portal functions. Then they're in and out of people's planets and starting shit. Right? This is ridiculous. So now there's something here too where that ends. Finding out about Chion and Soju and dishonorable shit with big bottles of Hennessy that shit been here for a long time. And just finding shit about stuff that's just even missing too and like drama and nonsense. And perfumes that once were, and fragrances that once were, and just a necessary drama too, spell work and chaos and bullshit. And just needing to get deeper into a better hierophant state, high priest. And this is like, we're talking about a lot of this warfare that got started in space and you learning your higher self and knowing that you have several. What other federation am I in? How do I speak Seminole? By getting with your higher self and speaking in Krukufai. Yeah. And in Krukufai is like the language that connects the high priest to himself on all levels, or priestess to herself on all levels. And really just like, oh, okay, it's a type of divination. Just sit down and write it out. I don't need to start reading different books and studying. I figured that's what you guys are doing. And that's why you don't got this language right. And you don't need to explain to people like why you're being so spiritual and why you don't feel like being involved in nonsense. It's not every day you want to be involved in shootings and chaos. Let it be honorable. That is true, brother. Right? Why do you just like unnecessary chaos? Sometimes we need peace. And that's where you're going to start to realize like, whoa, that's how they live in space. Yeah. Like a lot of you guys are in the cold game. It's ratchet what they turn it into, but it used to be a medicine. Oh, okay, here, it's going to help your air intelligence as you go into the mountains. Oh, here, you're fighting warfare, it'll help your intelligences. Right? Like, it wasn't about like guns and whoa, but it kind of was. But, it still soars high. So now we're like getting into a place where we're about to see like, oh, I got disconnected from myself. And it doesn't matter if you want to admit it or not, you're going to have to see that because at this point, I'll tell you, a lot of high priests, that's not even a choice that they're like thinking that they're making. It's already been made. So a lot of people are just going to fall in line and be more honorable and just always be more balanced, be more this, be more cognizant, be more in with their higher self, out of that timeline and time loop and using certain like works. Yeah, there's certain works that you guys have access to break time loops. Some of them keep you in time loops of like wars that you fought in space from planet Earth. Man, I remember, wait, everyone kept on busting at me. I had to find out who my op was. It's like that right now. That's like a time loop, and you have to break that. That's how like I was getting gang stuff, and I noticed it with the Zodiac, because the Zodiac has to run some of these time loops because the chemical sequence in the Zodiac. See, and then also, or the chemical sequence that you invoke in your dream state based on how you feel during the day or what you eat, that they can then bind to and do bullshit with. And these are just like the games and tactics that they play, high priest, you know? And these are the things that are gonna get broken, like from Mars to Massapequa. And you're gonna like have your own, you don't need a Mars to Massapequa because I can get there now. Do you hear me now? Good. And that's when you're gonna start seeing like, oh, I'm only one call away. Yeah, the high priest too, they did the same thing to him. And like drama and gossip too creates those type of bodies. Be careful what you do to people. You know, you never know what the longer game is on the other side with someone else running puppet strings and stuff like that. You running into their game. You think you're going to be benefiting, you end up losing a whole bunch of shit. That game and that time is over. Those type of deals can be made here. That type of like system and sequence can't even be invoked. It's not even a sequence. It's just Uruguay. It's just a debilitated like mental force that is trying to become a higher force by eating off another force. They're just leeching. And in other places, when you talk like that, they say, "Oh, it seems like she lost her vagina, like, or he lost his wood. Let me help, like, her find her flower. Like, let me help him find his branches. You know, like stuff like that. So I please find your branches and your leaves, and then find your leaves, even if those have been processed, right, from one form to another. But it's still God's works, right? Just now. That's what I have for you guys. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this helps everyone. And please clean up your candle. I disconnected myself and started over, but you're not going to live off me. I'm not teleporting shit. You're not getting anything from me. In a minute, SpaceX, what? I have a 737 Boeing. Okay, just put a spell on it, and that's it. That's how they've been doing these side shows. Which, by the way, I want to talk about that. You saw how clean it was, right? In that pickup truck, in that flatbed, it needs to be that clean when you guys are doing your side shows. Please clean it up, okay? Or don't do them at all. So need to chaos. So we don't need that. If you're gonna do that type of chaos, it shouldn't be on that level. It should be more organized, more consistent. And that's just a rule in the code. When you're from Source High, that's proper